afternoon, good evening to all of you out there, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Boss Chronicles Success Stories.
And just before you close your eyes and sleep off, here we are again.
Good night. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us again, guys. It's been a jolly ride this last 2 weeks, just showcasing amazing business owners who use our system to build a business online. And today we have another amazing guest for you guys, closing off our series for the year. We're so excited for you guys to hear her story. And without much further ado, before we go into that, let us know where you're tuning in from. If you're watching us live, type in live and let us know where. And if you're watching the replay, type in replay and also let us know where. We love to know how global we are. We want to know where people are watching us from. We've seen people from South Sudan, from where else? Guam, from Portugal. Even from Nigeria the other day. So we really
and many
love
states in the US.
Yeah, so we really love reading that. So now we shall introduce you to our guest.
To our guest, we introduce ourselves to our audience.
Right. Okay, so we'll hand it over to Caroline to share her journey with us. Let us know who you are and why you started this online business. And I'm sure when people hear your background, they're like, why? With all of this, what's extra stuff? So over to you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. It's an absolute honor to be here. Hi everyone. My name is Caroline. I am originally from Cameroon and I live in the US with my family. I have 4 little girls. Ooh. And yep. I am a registered nurse and a digital business owner and coach. And you know, the question about why I started this business, I think I hear that question at least once a day. I get that question at least once a day. So that's one of my favorite things to talk about. So I have been doing the business now for a little over 2 years. And when I started, I had just had our 3rd baby. I was getting ready to go back to my main nursing job and start a second nursing job, which of course I knew that that's something that I couldn't do for long, right? So that was when we decided to find another stream of income, something that possibly could replace one of the income streams that I was getting from, one of the nursing jobs. And so that's how we started looking, and we found out about this opportunity. We had seen a couple of other options, but they really were not what we were looking for. And so we found out about this opportunity through just a simple Facebook post that my now coach made. And all she said in the post was, if you're a mom, you're on maternity leave, and you're looking for a legitimate business to do from home, DM me. And I read that, and it really felt like she was speaking to me, like directly about my situation, because I was about to, come out of maternity leave and go back to doing 2 nursing jobs. So I reached out to her, and it turned out that, what she was talking about was this business that ended up being not only what we were looking for, but more than what we were looking for. That gift that keeps on giving, right? So that's how I got started. By the time I launched the business, another thing I always like to mention is it took me just about 2 weeks.
Wow.
We had spent years looking for a business to do. And the reason we had not started a business was because we knew that to start a business, there's a lot of moving parts. Right?
Yes.
Be it a traditional business or an online business, we had looked at both models. And then the online business models that we had seen, it was still a lot of moving parts. And there was always that question of, okay, being a mom, being a wife, being a healthcare worker, and where will I have the time? So when I found out about this one, and I realized that it was truly, truly, really flexible, and we definitely could do it, we jumped on board. And within 2 weeks, I went from wishing I had a business to literally launching a business. And I mean, I don't know. I always send people the link to my business launch post. I'm like, if you see my business launch post, you know that I wasn't playing. Like cake, cutting of the cake. The only thing that was missing in that business launch situation was like a full ribbon. Like I needed a ribbon. And in hindsight, I'm like, I should have bought a ribbon and like cut a little ribbon. I mean, I was launching a global digital business, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's how I started. And at that point, I'd actually gone back to work. So I was doing 2 nursing jobs
Whoa.
with 3 children under the age of 5, one of them a brand new baby.
Mm.
So again, when people ask me, is it flexible? That's one of the things I tell them. I'm like, listen, I started this thing with 2 jobs. And the plate that was not only full, it was overflowing. So yeah, that's how I started, and it's been an incredible journey.
Wow.
So, yeah. So just 2 years down the line, just 2 years, in under 2 years, we really need to stress that part.
Yes.
In under 2 years, what has changed? What makes you happy? What's your success journey or result? What does it look like on a daily basis?
Me, I'm already smiling to my head before she started talking.
I'm like, you're going to make me smile until you see veins on my forehead. Because I'm like, where do I even start? Like, the 2 nursing jobs that I was able to quit within a year of launching the business, to the first time in my life making 5 figures in 1 month, and then those 5 figures became consistent. Something that, how some people say this is a dream come true. There are some dreams that you're even scared to dream, right? Like some of the results we have had in this business, it wasn't even part of my dream, right? Because it's like, this is far beyond what my imagination could even capture as a possible reality for us. Because we were so used to that 9 to 5 grind, or in the nursing world, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. grind. And then it's like paycheck to paycheck. That became the norm. That was the normal for us, right? To the point now where it's like 5-figure months, and then you're able to start planning vacations. We're not even talked about vacations. Like, are you kidding me? What will happen to work? What will happen to mortgage? What will happen to this? What happens to that? So just that freedom to be able to just enjoy the blessings that God has given us, as a family. I was able to quit both my nursing jobs. Like I said earlier, the original intention was just to quit one. And then, be able to manage the other one and take care of the home front. But it got to a point where my husband himself was like, what's the point of calling something a side hustle that is bringing in more than our main hustles combined? I'm like, I agree. let's not call it a side hustle anymore. Let's call it a main hustle. So that's how I quickly quit. I quit the first one. A couple of months down the line, I quit the second one. And this has been my main hustle that has just been absolutely amazing. So besides the 2 nursing jobs that I quit, I just had a baby. And I tell people, I'm like,
wait. With the way both of you are looking at each other these days, I'm afraid for you.
Some of those your comments you made, I'm like, blood of Jesus. Every time I'm like, blood of Jesus. I've tried. So I tell people, I'm like, I'm on everlasting maternity leave.
Whoa.
I wake up in the morning, there's no rush, there's no stress, there's nothing. I can literally just stare at my baby for 30 minutes or even more, and she's also staring at me. Like, this is the first, no kidding, and this is my 4th baby. This is the first maternity leave, or this is my first, after birth experience that I have really enjoyed it. Wow. I have really enjoyed it. I've been very intentional because I can afford to be intentional about it. Like the time I spend with my baby, bonding with her, I'm able to notice every single milestone. Not one of those things where you're at work and they tell you, oh, she smiled, and they send you a picture, and then you start crying at work. I'm like, why is she crying? You want to experience those milestones. She was able to finally sit. She's standing. Wow. But now I'm able to notice every little difference in her and experience those milestones with her. And then also, we recently had bought a dream car, or one of the cars. and again, I was telling you the day that we went to the dealership, I'm like, this is real. Like, if this is a dream, nobody should
wake me.
Wake up. I don't want to wake up. Like, we're going to the dealership to pick up a 2024 car. Like in Cameroon, we say nyang nyang. Nyang. There's no shadow
Yeah.
that has entered inside. Talk less of like a person driving it. Like
Mm,
nyang
mm,
nyang, tear rubber. You know,
mm.
like this is the kind of car that we're able to get for our family.
Wow.
It's amazing number of seats, and we all can
Mm.
get in there. And
Yeah.
then another thing for me too has just been that whole concept of personal growth.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's one of the things that you cannot put a price tag on.
Mm.
Yes.
You cannot put a price tag on personal growth. The way
Mm,
I have grown as an individual, the way I've grown as a leader, the
mm,
way I have grown as a team member, the way I've grown as a businesswoman. And
mm.
again, the fact that this is like my first real business that I'm actually doing, right? That I can actually be proud to say this is my business that I'm
Mhm.
doing. And so all of those benefits, I feel like yes, the money is good. You
Mm,
know, I figure months. Like, are you kidding me? Like, the money is incredibly good. But above all of that, that personal growth. Because
mm.
when you attain a level of personal growth, there's no cap when it comes to income,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
There's no cap when it comes to income. You're able to recognize opportunities. You're able to leverage opportunities,
Mhm.
and there's just no limit. And I feel like that is where I am, and that is thanks to this business. And then the opportunity that I've had to meet amazing people that in my wildest, in my you guys, for example, I mean, literally the other day in the evening, I had the temerity to slide in Agape's inbox and say, "Sis, can you call me, please?" Just like that. Can you imagine the boldness? And we've never met,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's part of that reality, because a lot of people, when they hear online business, they think about, oh, is this even real?
Mm.
It is real.
It is
Yes.
real.
And the people that you get to meet, the people that you're blessed to be in contact with, these are
Yes.
real people. And
Yes.
so we have a lot that we have in common, and we have the same goal, right? Which is growing
Mm.
together and just hitting those business milestones together. So those are just some of the things.
Awesome.
And
Thank you so much. And I know you could go on and on and on and on,
yes,
because thanks to our big community, we always like just celebrate one another, share our stories, share
yeah.
our successes and everything. And it just makes you happy. This morning, Aki and I were, because now one of our main hobbies in the morning when we're making breakfast or whatever is we're watching like either HGTV, or we're watching like
Oh,
home makeovers and stuff, even
Yeah.
though we've made our home over like twice, but we're looking at the
yeah,
high home makeovers.
that's right. Why not?
And then we were talking about, so recently, as you know, we just got a hot tub in our back and everything.
Listen,
And
I put that. It's thanks to you guys. I put that on my list. On
you
my
know,
vision board.
because do you notice that our kind of people don't do stuff like this?
You know,
You
that's the fact of the matter. And,
Yeah,
it amazes me that I never even thought about it. But
I tell
that
you,
engineering, that wiring.
like it for like I think it was about 2 years ago. I
Yeah.
put it on my vision, but I was like, I want a hot tub, and immediately I started having those battles in my head, like, who's an African woman hot tub?
No, but I feel it cuts across. If you
Yeah.
don't have the means,
Mhm.
that dream
That
dies.
dream dies, really, because who are you to be dreaming the
Who are
things
you?
that your
It's like,
generation told you, right?
where do you get the liver from to
Yeah,
imagine
you
it?
know.
And the thing is, now, because we come from that background, right?
Mhm.
Even when you have the means now, you have to
Yes,
consciously,
yes,
retrain your mind to say, hey,
yes,
like, we can actually afford this.
yes.
Yes.
I
Because yeah,
deserve this.
yeah,
That's a whole other conversation.
that's a whole other conversation. And even you talking about, just looking at your baby and your baby looking back at you. The way we've always known is that you have the baby, you are not even like, what are you looking at? What's the color of the hair of the
Why you
baby?
look at me like that?
Do you know? Like, what is all that one? Because even back home, we didn't have the luxury of, like, even in the US, you guys, yours is still a
Oh
little bit
no.
worse because it's like 6 weeks or whatever of maternity. But here in Canada, we have 12 to 18 months, right? And I'm hearing things like maybe they want to increase it or something.
They should.
So here as well, we had one baby here, and for the first time ever, like you said, I will look at my child and be like, oh my God, before, when I would take my kids to school and I'll see some parents crying just as their kids are walking around like,
You're
I'm
like, this is actually emotional.
I'm like, what do you begin? But it was for the first time when I took my son to kindergarten. See the tears rolling. I say, me, agape. I looked at my life. What's going on? But because of that bond, because now we have the means to be able to enjoy the simple things of life. So when we were in the hot tub, I was saying to my kids, because my kids were in there with me, and I was like, what is wrong with just sitting in here doing nothing and just letting the water just massage you all over? And then I was like, wait a minute, we even have 40 jets in this thing. So I put on the jet. And I was like, Mom. And I was like, this is the wellness that we're talking about. It's not that, oh, you have the money, like you said, you don't have the mind to say, I deserve this. Like, because in your mind, you're like, what do I need a hot tub for? But what don't you need it for? When you get in one, that's when
Then
you know that
know.
it is an important part of life.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Where has this hot tub been all my
life? I tell you.
And just like you said, staring at your baby for 30 minutes. That's a moment.
Crazy.
No rush.
And for me, when I stopped working, every morning I'll open the front door and I'll feel the breeze.
Oh.
Which never happens for years upon years. And then one Monday morning, our son says, hey, Dad, can we play ping pong? 7 a.m. Monday morning.
Look at that.
And I played.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, we could go on and on and on, but there are people out there who come on here and watch us every single day, and they're just looking for that little push. Seriously, because we know we've experienced stuff like that where people are constantly asking and constantly being in this space where they're not sure. One day they're sure, the other day they are not sure, right? But we just want to encourage them because, like you said, we've never met before, and I'm really truly praying that we meet each other soon. But this business really truly opens a lot of doors for many, many of us who otherwise we could never have dreamed of the life that we have now. So what would be your quick encouragement to people like that to say, look, just go for it. Go for whatever it is that you need to do to change your life.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I would like to say is a lot of people who hold back on taking advantage of opportunities like this is because they are skeptical, right? And I always say being skeptical is not a bad thing. In fact, every human being needs a decent dose of skepticism. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in very hairy situations, right? So being skeptical in itself is not a bad thing. Being skeptical just means you don't have all the information to decide whether or not something is for you or if it's not for you. Right. So I was skeptical when I initially heard about the opportunity, or when I initially read, Lucy's post, that's my coach. In my mind, I was like, okay, even though this post is literally screaming at me, grabbing my attention, but what if it's just one of those online things? Again, I was coming from a place where online business was a little bit like a red flag. Immediately you mentioned online business, is it a scam or is it this? But I had to consciously, intentionally move from that position of skepticism to say, okay, if I'm skeptical, that means I'm interested in this thing somehow. Let me move from being skeptical to actually taking that step and getting the information, and then I can decide for myself. And at that point, whatever I decide is an informed decision. Right? So when I took that step and I got the information from her, and I realized that it wasn't just what we're looking for, it was more than what we're looking for. We had come up with a checklist on exactly what we were looking for in an online business, and it had 3 things on there. Number 1, it had to be legitimate. Number 2, it had to be flexible. And then number 3, we had to see the potential profitability of it, right? So are there people that have done this same business with the same business model that are having results that we see could become a reality for us,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
right? So the